Let's be honest, in a way, Naruto fans absolutely refuse to be honest. The Chunin Exams carried Naruto's entire legacy. Not helped, not contributed, carried. When people think about why Naruto became one of the most iconic anime of all time, almost every memory they cling to comes straight from that single arc. Rock Lee versus Gaara, Sasuke versus Orochimaru, Naruto versus Neji, the Forest of Death, the written exam, the sense of danger, the mystery, the feeling that literally anyone could lose, die, or fail. That Chunin Exams arc didn't just elevate Naruto, it defined it. And the uncomfortable truth is that Naruto never reached that level of consistency, tension, or identity ever again in the Chunin Exams. The Chunin Exams worked because Naruto still felt like a ninja series, not a god lineage simulator. Not a prophecy-driven destiny story, not laser beams and reincarnated demigods. It was grounded, brutal, and focused on skill, intelligence, and psychological pressure. The fights weren't about who had the biggest chakra nuke, they were about matchups, tactics, and limitations. Rock Lee couldn't use ninjutsu, so he trained his body beyond human limits. Neji believed in fate and superiority, which made his defeat feel thematic instead of arbitrary. Gaara wasn't just strong, he was terrifying, unstable, and unpredictable. These characters didn't feel like action figures waiting for power-ups. They felt dangerous. And Naruto himself? This was the last time he actually felt like an underdog. He wasn't the chosen one yet. He wasn't Minato's legacy incarnate. He wasn't Ashura's reincarnation. He was just a loud, desperate kid with raw potential and zero refinement. Watching him struggle, fail, cheat, and barely scrape by made his victories feel earned. His fight against Neji is still talked about decades later, not because it had the best animation or power scaling, but because it directly challenged the philosophy of the world Naruto lived in. Hard work versus destiny. Freedom versus bloodline. That theme carried the entire arc, and it landed. Now compare that to what Naruto eventually became. The series slowly but aggressively abandoned everything that made the Chunin Exams special. Strategy was replaced with spectacle. Limitations were erased. Power scaling spiraled out of control. Suddenly, the most important thing about a character wasn't their ingenuity or discipline. It was their genetics. Clan bloodlines became destiny. Chakra pools became infinite. Training arcs became excuses to unlock pre-installed abilities instead of developing skill. The ninja world turned into a flashy battlefield for god-tier entities, and the grounded tension of the Chunin Exams was never seen again. Another reason the Chunin Exams carried Naruto is because it had the strongest cast utilization in the entire series. Everyone mattered. Side characters weren't just there to cheer from the sidelines. They had real fights, real consequences, and real personalities. Rock Lee became an instant fan favorite. Shikamaru was established as a genius with emotional depth. Temari, Kankuro, and Gaara made the Sand Village feel genuinely threatening. Even characters like Dosu and Kin felt dangerous in their own way. After this arc, Naruto slowly sidelined most of its cast in favor of power escalation, and many of these characters never recovered. The sense of danger in the Chunin Exams is something later arcs desperately tried and failed to replicate. During this arc, it genuinely felt like characters could die. Orochimaru's introduction alone shifted the entire tone of the series. He wasn't a screaming villain or a misunderstood revolutionary. He was pure menace, silent, calculated, uncomfortable. His presence in the Forest of Death made Naruto feel like a horror anime for a moment. Compare that to later villains who monologue endlessly and get talk no jutsu'd into ideological submission, and it becomes clear how much tension was lost. Naruto fans love to say the series grew up with them, but the truth is that Naruto got messier, not deeper. The Chunin Exams were tightly written, thematically focused, and efficient. Later arcs bloated the story with excessive lore, convoluted reincarnation cycles, and retcons that actively undermined the original message. Hard work stopped mattering. Fate won. Bloodlines ruled. Naruto didn't overcome destiny. He fulfilled it. And that single fact alone proves how far the series drifted from what made the Chunin Exams resonate. Even the pacing peaked during the Chunin exams. Every episode mattered. Every test had a purpose. Every fight revealed something about the characters involved. Compare that to Shippuden, where entire arcs could be skipped without losing anything of value. Endless flashbacks, recycled emotional beats, artificial cliffhangers. The efficiency of early Naruto vanished, replaced by bloat disguised as world-building. Fans defend this as expansion. But expansion without focus is just dilution. And let's talk about cultural impact, because this is where the argument becomes impossible to ignore. When Naruto is referenced in pop culture, what scenes are shown? Rock Lee dropping the weights, Gaara crushing opponents without moving, Orochimaru biting Sasuke, Naruto uppercutting Neji from underground. These moments are from the Chunin exams, not the war arc, not Kaguya, not reincarnation lore. The series' most iconic imagery was forged in this single arc, and everything after it lived off that reputation. The Chunin exams also represented the last time Naruto trusted its audience. It didn't over-explain every move. It allowed silence. It used subtext. Later arcs treated viewers like they needed everything spelled out repeatedly. Internal monologues replaced visual storytelling. Characters explained techniques mid-fight. Mystery gave way to exposition dumps. The sharpness of the early writing dulled, and Naruto never recovered its edge. What really makes fans uncomfortable is realizing that if Naruto had ended not long after the Chunin exams, it might have been remembered as tighter, smarter, and more impactful. Instead, it overstayed its peak. The longer it went on, the more it contradicted itself. The Chunin exams promised a world where effort mattered, intelligence mattered, and growth was earned. The rest of the series quietly walked that promise back until Naruto became the exact opposite of what it originally represented. This doesn't mean Naruto is bad overall, but it does mean its legacy is built disproportionately on one arc. The Chunin exams weren't just Naruto at its best. They were Naruto being honest about what kind of story it was. Everything after feels like escalation for escalation's sake, chasing hype instead of meaning. Fans cling to later moments, but those moments only hit because the foundation was already laid early on. So when people say Naruto is one of the greatest anime of all time, what they're really saying, whether they know it or not, is that the Chunin exams were one of the greatest arcs of all time. Strip that away, and Naruto's reputation collapses fast. The war arc didn't carry Naruto, Shippuden didn't carry Naruto, Destiny didn't carry Naruto, one perfectly executed early arc did, and the rest of the series never caught up to it. If that makes you mad, good, argue about it. Write essays, rank arcs, defend your favourite moment, because deep down, every Naruto fan knows exactly which arc made them fall in love with the series, and it wasn't the one with aliens, reincarnations, or chakra gods. It was the Chunin exams. And Naruto has been chasing that peak ever since.